Hey, what's up guys? In today's video I'm going to be doing straight hair dreadlocks. Not only just straight hair dreadlocks, but I'm going to be doing them instantly with a crochet needle. Alright, so you guys can pick up the locking bundle on DREADLOCKS.com. Make sure to go and do that. And you'll save yourself so much time and money with using these tools. Today's video is actually really cool because I have a special guest and I'm sure you guys are excited for this guest. They've actually never been on here before, but so you guys ready for today's guest? Let's take a look. Alright guys, moment of truth. Today's guest is Mannequin the Great. So this is Mannequin the Great. He has a struggling beard, but he also has straight hair and a hat which needs to go off. Because of quarantine and the whole COVID-19 pandemic and everything like that, I'm not able to actually do other people's hair because I'm super against, being close to people right now. I'm super for social distancing, wearing a mask and everything like that. So with that being said, I am practicing, not only practicing, but showing you guys how to actually get this done using a mannequin. It's the same thing, it's the same as straight hair, and it's really as simple as that. So with the same steps that I'm going to be showing you in today's video is the same things that you can be using on your own hair or even your friend's hair. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different in today's video. I'm going to not only show you how to start and maintain the dreadlocks, but I'm going to show you also how to make skinny or thick dreadlocks with straight hair. So these are some tips that I've never seen on YouTube, but it's something that I always get the question of, and it's how to get skinny dreadlocks or how to get thick dreadlocks. How do I judge the thickness of starting my dreads, and how are they going to turn out based on the thickness? And I'm just going to show you some simple tips and tricks in today's video on how to actually do that. So stay tuned. Now, as interesting as it may sound, you always want to comb through the hair to make sure it's detangled. And the reason for that, because a lot of people always ask me, why do you want to comb it through if you're essentially going to be locking everything up? The reason you want to comb everything through is because this gives you the most length out of your dreadlocks, especially during the beginning stages. So combing it through allows all your full length to come out, and then for you to actually go in with the locking afterward. It just, like I said, makes your hair appear longer once you're done with the locking process. All right, so the first most important thing about actually starting the dreadlock is how big do you want your sections? All right, so the sections really determine the actual size of your dreadlock or the thickness. So if I were to come in here and create an inch by inch section, especially with straight hair, this is gonna be, I think this is gonna be a decent sized dreadlock with this section right here, because I think there's enough hair in here to lock, and I think it's just a good section of hair. And it's really good for the front side of the head especially. And overall, I think this is just going to be, I think it's going to work out good. I'm going to actually take some hair out. But I will tell you, golly, you got some knots in your hair, dude. I will tell you that creating the sections is the part of this process that you want to spend most of your time on. All right, so now that you guys seen that I got this section, obviously just making sure that all the hair that I want in this section is in there and everything that I don't want in there is out. And believe it or not, this is the most important step of the locking process in order for your hair to be in the right sections that you want, the proper thickness, how neat they are, so on and so forth. And believe it or not, this actually helps with reducing any tension or pressure on your scalp in the future, because if you have hair from another section in a section that you don't want that hair in, it's going to create tension because this dreadlock may fall that way and it's pulling from another dreadlock, which creates tension at the scalp, which can result in traction alopecia, which can also result in hair loss, which a lot of people deal with, especially with dreadlocks, but you can avoid that by doing these steps. All right, so now that we got this section, one thing that I always like to do is kind of twist the hair, and you can see how obviously it is twisted right here. So the difference between it being like this and trying to crochet hook it and this is it comes tighter, and then it also allows the hair to actually become locked up when you're doing the crochet hooking process. Now with this process, you don't want to start directly at the root. You want to start about an inch above the root, because then it allows you to actually go in later and judge how neat you want it at the root. So obviously you guys already know how to do this. If you don't, then I'll obviously help you out here. But you always want to pull towards the scalp. So using the DREADLOCKS crochet needle, I'm linking this down below. It's the most effective tool for your dreadlock. I have it in size 0.5 and this works great. You can also get it in 0.75, which we carry both at DREADLOCKS.com, but it is the most effective tool for dreadlocks. So we'll go ahead and get started out right here. All right, so obviously you guys can see how I twisted it, and you can twist it as much as you want. You can twist it all the way down if you'd like, but I think just, you know, right above the root is perfect for this. And I actually am missing some of this hair that I want in there, so I'm going to pull it in. I'm telling you, this is the part with the sections before you get started with any locking is the most important step in the process. All right, so I got that twisted. Now what you want to do, start going in. Now there is some bangs on this actual wig, so I don't have to worry about those. So here we go. Little slow motion for you, literally going in. You can see how some hair came out. See if you can see that. So you can see how that hair came out, and it's literally getting that hair out to the other side and constantly going in and out, in and out. And one thing that I'm thinking about doing on Dreadlocks.com is actually supplying you guys with some thimbles. And I actually create rubber thimbles that are great for actually doing crochet hooking on hair. And it just helps you not poke your finger, because there's been multiple times where I've literally poked inside of my nail right here and literally just started bleeding and all kinds of stuff. So these are things that I think would be great for you guys. So here we go. You'll be able to see how quick this will be able to lock up just from going in and out. This far down at the root, you can almost pull directly towards the actual scalp. So you can see how I'm holding this, and I'm literally going in as if I'm coming straight towards the tip of the actual hair. So literally pulling it back towards. All right, so this is just a better angle for you guys to see. You can see how there is actually this really big loop right here, and that is a given, and that's actually what you want to happen, because what you'll notice is when you're pulling hair through, like I'll show you again, and you pull hair through and it comes through like that, you'll see how it creates a loop. So you can see how this is actually creating your hair to be curly, and then eventually you just pull it all together by using the crochet needle. But you'll see how I'm just talking here and I'm able to show you that doing this just for a little bit creates the maturity. And obviously just, you know, keep rotating. You want to kind of go back and forth with rotation. But I'm able to create a knot at the root that will then eventually allow me to lock up the rest of the hair based off that knot right there. Because you can already start to feel it getting tight, which is a really good thing. You could see how there's kind of a knot going on right here. And all it takes is for you to just keep going in at it. Because all you're doing is creating loops and pushing those loops through in order for it to lock. Because there's already a ball going on right there, and then, I mean, you could see now that is free to actually just be, because it's locked up right there. And from this point forward, it's really easy to do. And now, since that I made a inch section, it's going to be a little tough. It's going to take a little bit more time to actually crochet hook this. And the reason being is because it is a smaller section and there's not that much hair. When you see people with dense hair, or people even with like a 4C hair type, they have more of a dense hair, causing it to be easier to lock up with a smaller section. Versus with straight hair, the hair's not as dense. So it takes a little bit more hair, therefore being a bigger section, in order to create the locks a little bit easier, but it's not impossible to do it with, you know, straight hair. And I just want to make this video so you guys can see that it's not impossible. And not only that, but how do people with straight hair get dreadlocks, and what's the best way? And I could tell you guys, this is honestly most likely the best way to actually get dreadlocks with straight hair. It's easy, it's fast, and you can have your whole head done, you know, in a matter of a day. And you can wash your hair afterward if you would want. That's the beauty of it. But as you can see, I'm literally just rotating about 100 degrees or 180 degrees, rotating back 180 degrees. I'm creating knots. And by the time I'm done with this particular dreadlock, you'll be able to see the length difference just because I combed out in the beginning stages. And also, you can see the length difference just for yourself and see how much shrinkage comes just from using the crochet needle versus doing other dreadlock methods. You can already see right there within a matter of about 3 minutes. Nah, probably like 2 or 3 minutes, I was able to get, you know, 2 inches done, which is about 3 inches of hair, including the roots. And then you just keep going at it. All right, so I'm about halfway done with the actual hair. I have about maybe 10 inches left, but you could see how in only, you know, maybe 10 minutes, did about maybe 8 inches of hair. It's about a minute per inch with this. And all I'm doing is continually pulling towards the root. So you can see how this is facing towards the head. The handle is facing towards the head versus facing towards me. Because if it's facing towards me, the hair is at risk of being pulled out of the actual scalp. Alright you guys, there's a misconception about straight hair dreadlocks that they always look like this at the tips. And it doesn't always have to be this way. There's multiple ways to actually handle this. And number one, you can always blunt it off using the crochet needle, which is honestly the easiest and I think most effective. Obviously, you can always trim them with scissors, which I've seen people do as well. I've seen people even trim the sides of their, their dreadlocks because of frizz. But all this can be dealt with a crochet needle, preserving all of your hair and making your hair the strongest possible. So first off, let's blunt off this tip. One thing I like to do is fold over any of the frizzy hair. And this is a tip for anybody who has, frayed tips. You take all of the loose ends. Well, you can honestly just grab them with this finger. Grab them like this, and you fold them up like that. Yeah, so you hold it in between your index and your thumb. So I'll just begin to go in and out right here in between my fingers. So I'm going in and I'm grabbing these hairs. You can see how they're getting tugged into the actual dreadlock. So like I said, you can see how they're getting tugged into the dread. And that's all you do. Keep them folded up, and obviously you want to work your fingers up, your index and your thumb. You want to keep working them up the dreadlock while pulling this and blunting off the tips. So I'm constantly going up. You do want to keep your fingers pretty tight together. You can see how there's a pretty tight squeeze in between right here. And that allows me to go in and just to show you guys behind the scenes. The crochet needle is now in between, my thumb and my index. You can see it right there. And then what that does is it grabs any of those hairs that are up against my thumb because I have the hook facing my thumb. And at that point, I just pull everything in. So you can see how right there, so you can see how right here, that was where the tip was. And then I just got to keep working that in, doing the same thing that I was just showing you. You'll see how just in the moment of me talking, I'm able to pull all this in and somewhat blunt off the tip. And then I'll do a full blunt here in a little bit. So you can see how in just 30 seconds, literally blunted that off. And I'm gonna go in right now and just make it even more tidier. So you can see how I'm constantly doing this motion, constantly doing it, back and forth, back and forth. And as I'm doing that, I'm going in with the crochet needle. So this is the motion that I'm doing the entire time, especially during, touch-ups. So I'm rolling it, going in and out. This allows it to get a cylindrical look. And obviously you can slow down on parts to where I need it the most. And if there's any part throughout the dreadlock that seems squishy, it has a lot of give to it, you can go in and make it tighter. If you're able to squeeze it like that, then it means it's not at its full maturity, which with a crochet needle, you can get your dreadlocks to, I would say 99% maturity. And then that 1% is just your hair doing its own thing and allowing it, over the years to tighten up and thicken up and so on and so forth. The cool thing about dreadlocks is that not only do they tighten up, but they thicken up. And the cool thing after they thicken up is they tighten back up. So it's kind of just a process, and obviously patience goes along with it, because your hair is going to go through so many changes. No matter what you do, no matter what method, your hair is going to go through changes. And it's all about maturity. I mean, you can always go in right afterward. I mean, we can see that this dreadlock is, it's perfect, really. And especially on Mannequin the Great, I mean, you could see. Now let's take a look at the length difference. So getting a different angle for the length difference. You can see that it took off just about 6 to 8 inches. And that's not always the case. I mean, you can make it to where it's longer. But one thing that I did is I made these to full maturity. So these are hard. These are as if you've had dreadlocks for, 2 to 3 years. So these are full mature dreadlocks. You can get them to where they're not completely mature, but they, they're all together with that same look and, preserve some of your length. But I can tell you, if you were to do back combing, the hair would be even shorter, somewhere in this range. If you were to do any other method, the hair would appear shorter. Obviously, if you were to do twisting with gel, it just wouldn't hold on straight hair. That's why it's really important to actually go in with a crochet needle. And like I said, this is the one that I use, a 0.5, and you can pick it up at DREADLOCKS.com. You can see how small the tip of this is. All it does is it catches hair on that little hook and it pulls hair through. And you can get a slightly bigger size, like I said, a 0.75, which catches a little bit more hair. But this, you're able to get more precise and not take too much hair at once. And you're able to preserve some length because this isn't catching that much hair. But yeah, guys, the length difference, I mean, it's quite a big difference. And that's one thing you have to expect with getting an instant locking method, that all this comes with it. But one thing you need to know is after this is like this, everything is 100% growth. And your hair is going to seem like it's growing faster than when it was outside of dreadlocks. Just because this is hanging on to every single hair versus your hair naturally falling out. I think it's over somewhere in the range of over 100 strands of hair, could even possibly be 1,000 strands of hair that fall out every single day on a human's head. But with this, your hair stays in, it appears longer as it grows, and it grows quicker. And just to touch base on what I was talking about earlier with sections, if you were to do a 2-inch section, the dreadlock would be thicker. And you can see how a 1-inch section I think is perfect just because it looks like, a good sized dreadlock. And the cool thing about this over time with patience is going to turn out looking great. It's going to be more, flexible, bendy. It's not going to be standing up, because there's a lot of people who ask that question. When I get my dreadlocks, are they going to stand up? Or people who even have dreadlocks already, they're like, they stand up, they're stiff. And maturity really solves all those questions. And maturity is really the answer to all that. And the cool thing about the crochet needle is that it solves maturity. It creates maturity. And like I said, you guys can pick this up at DREADLOCKS.com. And we actually do have a sale going on just because of the whole COVID-19 thing. And it's really just to support all of you out there during this, crazy time. We wanted to save you guys some money so you guys can go get yourself some of these tools so you're not spending thousands of dollars at a loctician. And if you were going to a loctician, some of you guys can't anymore, but just because of, the whole situation that's going on. And if you need maintenance, this is the perfect way to do it. I mean, you're only spending a fraction of the cost of what you would do when you would go to a loctician. And if you guys already have all the information on how to actually do your dreadlocks from these videos, I mean, I don't see why you guys wouldn't do them yourself. Because really the cool thing about it, like I said earlier, is maturity answers the questions for your dreadlocks. If your dreadlocks don't look the way that you want them to, maturity is going to answer that. And like I said, this is the answer to maturity, or you can just allow it to mature with time. One more thing before I head out, I do have a locking bundle on DREADLOCKS.com that is perfect, and it's the way to actually start, maintain, and finish your dreadlocks, mature your dreadlocks. It actually is the crochet needle with the interlocking tool, and they both work amazing together. I'll actually show you guys really quick, just me doing an interlock with this using the interlocking tool, and you'll really be surprised that all this can be done with just 2 tools. Okay guys, so this is the locking bundle. We have the interlocking tool, which is for maintaining any new growth at the roots. And also, you guys already know, this is the famous crochet needle that is just amazing, and you need it for your dreadlocks if you have some, or if you plan on getting them, just because these are 2 essential items for your dreadlocks. So you've seen me use the crochet needle, and that's obviously just for creating dreadlocks or maintaining frizz or blunting out the tips. It really just does anything for your dreadlocks. Now moving on to the interlocking tool. So with the interlocking tool, you're just going to take the dreadlock and you're going to push it through the loop on the interlocking tool just like that. And you're going to pull it into the locking position right in the back part, and that locks it into position. And this locks it into position so that you can thread the dreadlock through the actual roots. So I'm just going to thread it through the root. Go ahead and grab the tip, and you want to literally just pull it through. So once you pull it through the root, then you just obviously just pull it all the way through, and just like that, boom, you got an interlock. You can see how nice and tight that root is, and it's literally just a little ball right there at the knot, and it just really maintained that root. And I actually have the dreadlock too close to the root in order for me to go in for another interlock, but if you do have a lot of new growth, you can go in for a second one. But that is that, guys. Here's something up close and personal so you can see those roots like literally just pulled all the way together. And it's not going anywhere, and that's not locking gel, it's interlocking. Well guys, I enjoyed being quarantined and creating this video for you guys with Mannequin to Great. Maybe I'll do more videos with Mannequin. If there's anything that you guys want to see with hair, especially straight hair, I'll most likely get some other wigs so you can see different hair types on how to actually get dreadlocks with those hair types with, certain methods. So I'll do those videos for you guys. Just let me know down below if you guys would like to see more of Mannequin to Great. What do you guys think about the beard? I don't know. I think it needs sunglasses or something. Anyway, hopefully you guys really enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If it helped you out, I was trying to be most informative with this video, and I hope you guys got a lot out of it. But on that, I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully you guys do have an amazing day. Matter of fact, have a great day. Peace and God bless.